Yeah, miss! Welcome to the first video on the Spearfishing channel. I finally moved on from them TikToks and Instagram reels, and it's time to start making YouTube content. For this first video, I was originally planning on just doing clips with background music, but watching it back and editing, there's a few things that I wanted to break down so y'all get in a full content video, like a proper voiceover content video. Now in this first clip, I just shot I think it was a 4-pound Cero mackerel. It was one of the first ones I took out with this gun, and I think before this point I don't think I actually pulled the trigger once without getting a muzzle wrap. So that's something that I'm going to explain later in the video on how to actually prevent muzzle wraps, because I found with this gun, like none of my previous guns got muzzle wraps. So there's just like a small tweak that completely eliminated muzzle wraps for me, and I'll explain it later on in the video. For this second clip, while I was on the surface, I noticed this really big boulder which would work perfectly as cover from any target species. So down here in St. Lucia, it's a bit different from in the States. A lot more fish species are actually on our target list, so even fish that are generally considered trash fish would still be harvested here and eaten. So stuff like chubs, which I'm going to show in this clip, would be taken for either food or the market. In a second here, you'll see on my left there's a black shadow, which ended up being one of those chubs I was talking about. The fish comes up here, I take a quick shot, but it hits low and the fish ends up ripping off. So other than just injuring a fish and losing it, I think that was actually the first dive that I shot my gun and it did not muzzle wrap. So I'll replay this clip as well as the clip with the Cero so I can compare the two and explain what I think causes the muzzle wraps. The thing to look at here is actually how your shooting line runs down your gun after it's been loaded. So as you can see, it's actually pinned underneath my wishbones. So I think that causes the shooting line to get wrapped up in the bands after you pull the trigger, which just causes your muzzle wrap. In this clip here where I don't get the muzzle wrap, you can see that the shooting line is actually underneath the bands and not caught in the wishbones. This allows the spear to fly along a clear path, preventing the muzzle wrap. Now this clip here is the dive right after that one chub tore off, and you can see in the distance another one which is even bigger. This one is probably around 6-7 pounds, and I'm doing my grunting and scratching trying to make it come in, and it lines up perfectly for a broadside shot and muzzle wrap. So as you can see, I didn't really figure out what was causing them until after this dive, and it was actually my good friend Mad Shark, who also uses a Rob Allen, who showed me how to correct that. Those first few clips were actually the only videos that I got from my first dive coming back. I had taken a 6-month break for school and I was getting used to my new gun, so that first dive was quite uneventful and I was kind of just shaking off the rust. For these next couple clips, I believe I took them the very next day but in a different spot. On this drop, I was kind of just trying to find somewhere to position myself in a way where I could see a school of queen parrotfish that I was stalking a little earlier on in the day. And right here you can see them just cruising around, and there's 2 big males mixed in with a bunch of black and white females. You can see them going back and forth, and I'm just trying to stay calm and allow them to present a shot for me so I don't spook any of those fish. And right here I was going to shoot that one, but the second one gave me a better shot and I took it straight through the side of its head. These queen parrotfish are another example of something that just wouldn't normally be targeted in the States. just not really for the eating quality, but I more believe it's because they look nice and people will just take that and say, oh, it's an aquarium fish, you're not supposed to shoot them. But down here, very normal to eat and probably one of the more popular eating fish that we have on our reefs. After shooting that queen parrotfish, I had a good feeling that these fish would stick around the area, so I made another drop a little higher up from where I made that last one and took the queen, and sure enough I saw that same school just cooling out there, and I just, you know, same deal, relaxing on the bottom, making sure I'm not spooking the fish and waiting for something to come around and just give me the shot I'm looking for. I think it was at this point right here where I saw this nice stoplight parrotfish mixed in with all the queens and surgeon fish, and I kinda just looked around making sure nothing else that I wanted passed by. And just as I hoped, that nice stoplight just hung in front of me, giving me a perfect shot. These stoplights are one of the three main parrotfish that we shoot, being yellowtail parrotfish, stoplight parrotfish, and queen parrotfish. I don't believe on this dive I ended up getting any footage of me shooting any yellowtails, but on the very next day or next time I went out, I ended up taking a nice blue one, which I'll show in a second. So this next day I was out diving with my older brother in my backyard. Big up accident though. Yeah. So at this point I had seen a nice yellowtail parrotfish camouflaged on the reef, and I was going to get him to go and shoot it, but I saw it get up and start running and I didn't want it to run away, so I chased it down and popped it. I was just trying not to shoot into the reef, so I was waiting for it to go over this patch of sand and took the shot. So I've just shot his fish. I'm coming back up to the surface and I look to my left and he's just coming down to see the damage. So I know as I'm coming up, I'm going to have to explain myself for shooting his fish, and you'll see the dialogue here.
I feel like ass trying to talk about it there.
I was going around it because I could go on the street. If I go on the street, I go on the side. I
Oh, yes, he started running. He started running. That's why I won't take it.
So not a bad yellowtail, probably on the bigger side but not the biggest I've seen. This is a male, so it's a little different looking. The females are brown with a yellowtail, giving them their name. Another one of those common market fish which you wouldn't usually see people shooting in the US. Another parrotfish species which I forgot to mention is the rainbow parrotfish, or washoe as we call them here. Those are the biggest species of parrotfish that we have in St. Lucia, and one of the most sought after fish that people hunt. At this point in time, I hadn't actually shot one, so when I hit the bottom and saw that big school of them suspended, my heart started racing and I knew this could be my chance. I put in what I thought to be a perfect shot, but somehow that fish escaped. I led my shot perfectly and ended up hitting that fish right in the side of the head, but for one reason or another, the flopper didn't engage and the fish ended up sliding off. After losing my first washoe, I ended up going to another part of the reef and ran into this nice Cero. So I made a dive bomb on it and tracked it until it gave me the shot I was looking for. As soon as it turned broadside, I placed in my first stone shot with my new gun. It's always a great feeling to pull the trigger and see those fish roll. It's not a big one by any means, but still a nice eating size. In this final clip, me and Janick were on the surface and I saw a nice ledge with a bunch of Sailor's Choice grunts underneath it, or gowet as we call them in St. Lucia. And I was trying to get Janick to go down and take the first one, but he told me to go down and he would get one afterwards.
Go for it. I recorded you. Yeah? Or you want me to go and take one? Go and take one and then you'll take them.
So here I prepare to make my drop and go down to, I believe it was around 45 feet. As I'm making my drop, I'm kinda looking around just to make sure that nothing else that I want passes by. And after not seeing anything, I go straight under the ledge. With a 110, it's kinda difficult to aim in caves, so I kinda just have to leave my gun in one position and wait for the fish to swim in front. There I just tried to take a shot, but my safety was on, and then the fish comes back around. Another one of the drawbacks to using a long gun like that for cave hunting is your line can get wrapped up easily in the hole, but I was lucky enough to get my hands on the fish quickly to prevent it from running around and getting tangled. Later on, I tried to get some footage of Janick shooting one, but when we looked back into the hole, they had all disappeared somewhere. That about wraps up this first YouTube video. I hope that all of y'all enjoyed this, and it's been actually a lot of fun to make. I was putting it off for quite a while, but I'm happy that I finally got around to doing it. I don't want to be like one of them cringe YouTubers who are asking for subs and likes, but if you genuinely enjoyed the video, it would let me know that I'm doing something right. Also, any criticism would be appreciated because I'm trying to make the best content that I can that's the most enjoyable to watch. So anything that you think could make future videos better and things that I could improve on, just let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching my first ever YouTube video, and I hope to see you next week. Later.